because
I found this film.
I have not seen something cringe that was I thought funny as fuck like this in a long time.
This
Where
is
is it
beyond
funny?
cringe.
The whole fucking thing is funny, dude. When they dude, I didn't think this kid was gonna have the balls to cut from him kissing the girl to like, yep, okay, we're going for it.
Oh, I knew he was. None of that surprised me.
Oh, I loved it. Every fucking second of it.
Mm-hmm. It was. I thought I was much more entertained by.
How
this
old is this character supposed to be?
47.
Because he's 33 in real life, and he's playing somebody who...
He's 32 in real life, and I think he's supposed to... I imagine he's playing like a college-age kid.
Yeah. I think he says he just got out of college, right? So he's like...
No, he just got out of fucking some sort of residential home because he tried to kill himself.
He's suicidal, yeah.
Okay. Right.
So it's possible he's in his early 30s. Doesn't look... Isn't
I had to stop... I had to stop this film multiple times.
Ditto.
Exactly.
Sheila fled the room before the part... That was when the confrontation finally happened at the diner. Sheila had to leave the room, and then she was like, "What? Because I was screaming."
Yes.
See, I didn't have to like leave the room or stop it. I sat here and watched the whole thing. I just would have turned it off as soon as he created the profile because I saw the horizon of what was going to happen for the rest of the movie, and I went, "I don't need to watch this."
I saw it too. I think everyone sees it, but the journey is. I was screaming as well, John, but with glee. Like I was on the couch going, no fucking way! Oh my god, yes!
Same here, man. I loved where this was going because it was getting crazier and crazier and crazier, and the stakes kept going higher and higher and higher, and that's what you want of a film like this, you know.
And also, dude, and this is, I mean, obviously this is all subjective, but I can't believe that this kid actually, or guy, actually pulled some fucking heart into this, and I actually cared about everyone in this fucking movie. This is a fucking little mini masterpiece of a script, in my opinion.
It is a script. I think is great, and of course, based on a true story.
Yeah, it's his life. This actually happened to him.
If
this actually happened,
it really happened.
Yes, this happened to him, and he made a movie about it.
If this guy's dad actually did half of the things that the character did in this movie, someone should just push him into traffic. Because he tried to kill his son. Whether he knows it or not, he tried to kill his son.
Yeah, that worried me too, Tad. I was feeling like this guy's already been set up as unstable, suicide. He was suicidal, and now this is happening to him. Attempted suicide, right?
Yeah.
And now this is happening, and I thought, well, this could end really badly.
Well, the research I haven't.
And it almost does.
I don't know how extensively you can research this. I mean, I didn't find much more than, you know, yes, this happened to him, and here's his movie.
Information about this movie. About this, it's
so I don't know if
crazy.
It's weird. It's almost it almost doesn't exist in terms of like.
So the suicide thing is that could just be for the film, or I don't know if that was real life as well. But the dad catfish is real life.
Yeah.
Right. And but what I'm saying is like if his son, if the director tried to kill himself and then his dad did that, his dad should be in prison. Like that, you have done something through negligence and greed that very, very easily could have caused your son to kill himself.
Right.
Or
but what you're not looking at is someone who loves their child, who is a desperate person, who is fucked up in the head.
If you love your child, you would not do this.
Well,
sure. Maybe you wouldn't, Tad, because maybe you're a better person than this man.
Right. Patton Oswalt
the vast majority of people on the planet are a better person than this man.
Patton Oswalt's character is set up as a bad person from the very beginning when he steals that dog. And he tears down the wanted poster for the dog for his kid.
Yeah, that's the kickoff.
This is a bad person.
The chess cheating thing was sleazy. And,
fuck yeah.
No,
he's petty and bad.
Yeah, he's morally compromised from the very beginning of the film. Yeah. So what he did isn't surprising. It's always crossing for what he thought was a very minor line.
But choosing someone like Patton, who is so lovable and so, you know, it's great casting because it's sort of like what's that other movie where if so and so wouldn't have played him, you just would have hated the character. There's so many movies like that where you're like, if this character was played by anybody else.
Actually, that's like most of Patton Oswalt's live action stuff. It's like,
or it's like Sandler being in Uncut Gems. You would fucking hate that guy if it wasn't Adam Sandler. I mean, you do hate him anyway.
It's Patton in Big Fan. It's Patton in Young Adult. Same thing.
I love Big Fan.
Oswald seemed to be drawn to parts like this because I was going to bring up Big Fan. You know, another deeply, deeply flawed, weird.
Yes,
I love that movie too, and I love him in Young Adult, and yeah, he's drawn to this, and he obviously went for it here all the way.
Right.
I think he's drawn to it because it really lets him stretch his acting muscles.
Yeah,
like this is a horrible character to try to play. Like I don't know where you get motivationally to do this, like, but he did it. And all credit in the world to him for giving it 100%. You know, like that's another thing that really bothers me about this movie is that she's giving 100% in this movie. The mom's giving 100% in the movie. Patton's giving 100% in the movie. He is not. And maybe it's because he's splitting his director's.
He's doing that thing where he's
and all
the wheels
that
are turning in his head.
Right.
Yeah.
But she does.
But I also think he's playing a pretty complex character.
Yeah.
But she does such a flawless job of playing a younger person than she is, and he seems like he's 33.
I don't know though, because it's the suicide, like it's the someone who's dealing with real depression.
Right. That part of it's fine. I'm talking about all the times when he's supposed to just be a 20-something kid who's meeting someone online and falling in love with them. There's no young adult, like,
it's not breezy.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily breeziness, but like it's not even young adult pensive suicidal stuff. Like everything he does feels too old for the character.
Two things though. I think that part of it, you know, this is James Morosini's character, the main guy. Half of him is he's willing to make himself look like a complete idiot through the most of the movie, which is you know, falling for the catfish thing over and over again and being you know, totally in love and imagining things that weren't real. And that's kind of brave, a lot braver than the other film that we didn't record. So I thought it was kind of neat he did that. On the other hand, he isn't as good looking as the guy Cooper Raiff. He's just he's a little odd looking. He's like his eyes are on upside down.
You know, I'm getting a little bit. We were just talking. I didn't record, but we were talking about Cha Cha Real Smooth and Cooper Raiff, and everybody was saying he was a little bit off as a leading man too. It was just like sometimes he was great, and then sometimes you couldn't quite connect.
Right.
And I got that in a different way from this guy. This guy's giving me sort of Anthony Perkins vibes. Where it's like he hasn't found his niche yet, and his niche might be murderer.
It could be. He has that murderer look about him. Yes.
I bought him for the most part
Dexter
because of
too.
The depression thing and like the suicidal thing, but I thought he did. I agree with Scott. Like he was willing to, like the scene where he's dancing in the street and it cuts to just him by himself. I mean, he's not afraid to just like.
I know, like that's great. He went out on a limb on this.
I wish there was more of that.
Me too. Me too.
But it was such a good, back to the script too. Like what a great idea to, I don't know what stage, but early on he probably thought, how would I do this visually? And having that actress who is incredible,
she's incredible,
just appear in the scenes. Like I love that in the car when she's like, "I'm here," she puts her head in, "I'm here," and just so many great.
Hang on, I'll find it. And then he's listening to
his eyes are upside down. See?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're kind of right, but also, but I love, or how about
think
when
about
she's
how fucking cold she is at this point. The actress, how cold?
A trooper.
How about when she reads? How about when she reads?
How cold was her back?
She reads the texts that are all wrong that the dad is sending as he's driving.
I know that's best.
Dude, that was amazing.
That was really good.
You read in real life, like she's reading it like phonically. It's fucking amazing. Like it's so good.
That's how you'd read it in your head.
Yeah.
So even though that most of this movie, the tension was unbearable and it made me want to roll up like an armadillo into a ball. The movie redeemed itself so that by the time the credits rolled at the end, I was like, oh, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And it all comes to the point where finally the scene in the diner when the shit does hit the fan.
The crescendo of this whole thing. Yes.
Once that tension is diffused and released, I finally could like and then watch the last part of 5-10 minutes of the movie and appreciate it for what it was. And I enjoyed the ending. I thought it was clever.
I thought the ending was clever too. I really love how
I thought
they
that
just leave you there.
It was a nice redemptive ending.
So if it's not too soon for thumbs up, I'm just like, even though I was miserable and had to stop the movie several times because I was so upset,
I thought
it was a good movie.
I don't think that cringe is actually. I think cringe is more something that happens on TV, like with Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you have like characters who just are cringy the entire time and you're stuck with them.
Yeah.
This was just more like an escalating series of mishaps.
Yeah.
I think this film's been kind of misidentified as cringe comedy.
No, cringe means secondhand embarrassment.
Okay.
It means you're feeling embarrassed for someone else.
Well, the thing is,
this was too transgressive for it to be called cringe.
Yes, it was. It was beyond.
It was horrifying.
Well, yeah.
But
I was laughing. I was laughing a lot.
Oh,
I was laughing too.
Oh, did I tell you?
In an uncomfortable way. I like uncomfortable things, and this was.
I think it's all based on a real story. I'm not sure he actually forgave his father.
Here's Chris.
In the film, he forgave his father, but I'm not sure if it happened in real life.
Did he forgive his father, or is he smiling at the end because he's going to go across the street and fucking bludgeon him to death with a candlestick?
No.
Maybe he's doing it so he can keep an eye on him for one.
That is kind of an ambiguous. It's kind of an ambiguous ending.
That's what's so brilliant about this. No, because it's him saying it's in the note. It's in the subtext. It's fuck you, but I do want you close enough because you're my dad and I love you.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm fucking pissed at you.
So if you try to do something like this to me again, I can kill you.
Okay, sure. It's open to interpretation.
The thing is, after it was over, I was ashamed this was based on a real life event because I actually wrote the sequel in my head when it was over, where because Patton Oswalt was assuming Becca's personality so much, something magical happens one night, and John can guess what's going to happen. He wakes up as Becca.
He turns into Becca.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would you curse that poor woman with that?
The sequel is he will not go out with her son.
It's like a heaven can wait thing.
Yeah. Actually, I had heaven can wait in my head when I was thinking about that. It's like, there's another way we can go here.
It's a Freaky Friday switch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny because yesterday,
I didn't know who Bo Burnham was.
You're a lucky man.
Oh, you didn't see that Inside special?
Well, no,
so my friend just bought there's a big like special edition
vinyl release of a bunch of his stuff, including that. And she was talking about it, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And so she showed me a couple of clips from Inside, and I was watching it, and I was like, oh, this is anti-comedy. I got it. Like it is
anti-comedy, yeah.
And this is anti-comedy too, and I don't think anti-comedy is necessarily bad. Like
nothing is funnier to me than Andy Kaufman going out and just reading The Great Gatsby, just standing on stage and reading The Great Gatsby. But the thing is that Kaufman, to me, the genius of Kaufman was that he lulled everybody in with real comedy first and then made the switch. And what happened is the switch made him more popular. And I think a lot of people looked at it and went, oh, the anti-comedy is why he's popular. It's like, no, he's popular because he used to be really funny. And then something happened in his brain and he did this instead. And like it's funny because you remember the other funny stuff that he did, and then watching the contrast between the two things is very good. This never sold me on the comedy first to make the anti-comedy enjoyable. Like this needed something like the bad text reading scene in the beginning. Because if the bad text reading scene happens first, I'm more on board with how weird it gets as it goes along.
I don't know. I think it did a good job of establishing very quickly who these characters were and where they were coming from. In fact, I kind of took note of it as like a filmmaker to be like, wow, like in a short film, you have a very little amount of time to explain people very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Before you get along to your story or whatever.
That's why Oswald has the best friend.
But a short film doesn't.
Off of.
But a short film doesn't have to earn
an hour and 15 minutes of this in the middle of it because it's only 15 minutes long. Like the problem is I don't feel like this movie earns my attention for what it's trying to do, and the every occasional drop of like heart or humor that it leaves in actually makes the rest of it feel worse to me, because I'm like, oh, if you'd done a bunch of this at the beginning, I would have been way more interested in what you were saying with the rest of the movie.
See, I don't want more of that here, because I think what separates this from any other film is that it's saying, no, this is what we're doing. This is going to fucking gross you out. It's going to fucking make you uncomfortable, and it's going to be the way I want to go. And for me, I relished watching, like, I was eating this up with the spoon, because I was like,
but I was never uncomfortable.
We know where this is going, but let's see how far they go. Like Scott said, like, how far is this guy going to take it?
Yeah.
Well,
that's the thing. This isn't about comedy in terms of a structured comedic film. It's more like, this thing actually happened to me. Follow me along, and we're going to see where this goes.
The documentary would be better then.
You know, it gave
a different movie.
Different movie.
Yeah.
It's just
different.
using the imaginary girlfriend showing up all the time. It really elevated this film in a lot of ways, and it made it more of a comedy, because you realize that you're kind of half out of reality in this thing. So it worked.
It really would have changed the film if they had decided not to stage that, and it would have been, you know, pretty boring just to watch people texting each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Regardless of the content.
Well, this is becoming a thing in movies now, is that you do the text with having the other person in the room. Like he didn't come up with this. This has been a couple of years now.
Although his stuff's pretty imaginative, that's for sure.
But he went with but he stuck to it for the whole film, obviously.
And nice that the ending, where it's the ex-wife standing in the room reading him the letter, reading Patton Oswalt the letter that she sent him, sent him. It's giving away already that this is another catfishing situation.
I know.
That's true.
Absolutely giving it away.
Also, except they do it with him texting his girlfriend,
and that's real.
To get the responses, and that's him texting her.
Right.
Now he's doing it as part of the catfish,
right?
But
both parties know who they're talking to,
right? But yeah, when
Good point.
He's stealing their sexting and sending it to his son,
I know,
like the game of chess.
I wish that
was a groaner. Actually,
I wish it had kind of paid off the girlfriend finding the stuff and then calling the mom. Like, because I was like, oh fuck, his mom's gonna call him and be like, yo, your dad's doing all this,
right?
Like,
well, how did the dynamic go? It was
changed for the film.
The wife looked, the girlfriend, Rachel Dratch, looked at the phone, called the ex-wife. Ex-wife busted him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ex-wife called Patton Oswalt's character and said, "You tell him what you're doing."
Exactly. So that's kind of because it would happen like that.
That's never paid off.
No,
that just dies on the vine.
What paid off is right. Actually,
they unfortunately they do a music montage over that so that they can get to the diner scene.
I don't think it's unfortunate. I thought it was pretty funny the way the music just got so grandiose during that section, and it's all people saying stuff we already know. So we don't want to hear that dialogue.
Also, Becca
I'm not talking about the dialogue. I'm talking about that thread just dies right there. Like there's nothing comes from that.
Patton Oswalt does tell him, but he tells him standing in the diner when it's too fucking late.
Yeah.
But he would have had to anyway because he went to the diner.
Yeah.
Also, realize that Becca never knew anything about this at all. It's either good or bad. It's like, I would love to have had her like saying, "What the fuck is wrong with all you people?" That would have been great. But it never happened.
No, but she does find out because everyone in the diner then hears what he says to her.
Well, yeah, during a big blow up, but he also comes off like a crazy person. You don't know if he's being.
But I'm saying, like she does find out. Like she will know after this. He's never going back to that diner,
right?
You know, like
no. Well, it's in Augusta, Maine, for one thing, so you don't have to go all the way out there. That's good.
There was one moment though where he creeps, where Patton's character creeps her out early on, when he says relationships are weird, and she's like, yeah, and he's like, well, do you have one? Like, do you have a boyfriend? And she's like, why do you ask?
Oh yeah.
And he says, just making conversation, when he should have said, because my son is single and I think he's a great guy. And then that would have been maybe like an in. I mean, obviously, sure, I had a boyfriend, but
also he wasn't thinking of her in that situation yet.
Yeah.
No,
that's kind of too bad.
He was trying to figure out a way out of his own predicament.
Right.
Wait,
all right. So
Chris's corner.
Chris is very, very quiet.
I don't know. He's been doing enough sort of gesticulating and eyebrow raising and
face acting.
Mouth responses. I think we know what his answer is.
I appreciated everyone's commitment to the bit. But to put me through,
get out the damning with faint praise horn.
But to put me through an hour and 20 minutes of fucking torture, I was like, there better be a hell of an emotional payoff at the end of this thing.
There sure as fuck isn't.
Nope.
I thought I did a decent enough job of skating that line.
What did you want from it, Chris, that you didn't get?
Well, I don't know what I wanted from it. I mean, like the reason I kept watching and not throwing my TV across the room was because
it's a hotel television.
Because I looked, as soon as it started, like I looked up on IMDb, this actually happened. Like, okay, I'm going to keep watching because I want to know, like, even if it's not 100% what actually happened, I want to know what actually happened. And I'm kind of with Tad that, like, somebody should have been run over by a car by the end of this thing. But
yeah, you remember in A History of Violence when he grabs the hot water thing from to make coffee and just smashes the guy in the fucking face with it? That's what I wanted to happen.
Like, I love a good fuck you record. I mean, I think Nirvana's In Utero and Faith No More's Angel Dust are some of the greatest fuck you records of all time. I love like the I'm just going to double down and stick my thumb in your eye. And so on that level, I appreciate this movie because everybody was fully committed to the bit. But it was fucking torture, and I don't want to see it again.
I've seen it twice now, and I can't wait to watch it again.
It's funny. We all have our kind of like the
I could rarely get through Curb Your Enthusiasm. Honestly,
I couldn't watch it. I couldn't watch that show at all. I just could. I didn't enjoy it. Yeah.
Not my cup.
Scott's still max headrooming over there. I just want to.
I know. I'm got to send this goddamn camera back. It's just not working well.
So,
hey.
Good pick. No,
okay. Are we gonna do thumbs at this point?
No.
No. Okay.
I don't know. This is one of these.
I like this so much.
Honestly, my fuck you isn't to Jared on this one. My fuck you is to him for making this. Like